Most people know LEGO as the iconic, colorful plastic bricks that spark creativity and imagination in millions of kids and adults alike. But what many don't realize is that LEGO didn't start off as a global empire of toys, theme parks, and movies. In fact, LEGO's story is one of disaster, devastation, and nearly going under more than once. The company was born out of hardship, built through resilience, and revived through sheer innovation. This is the incredible rise of LEGO and how a small Danish workshop turned into a global powerhouse by rebuilding, literally and metaphorically, after fire, failure, and financial ruin. It all began in the small town of Billund, Denmark in 1932. A man named Ole Kirk Christiansen, a carpenter by trade, was struggling to keep his business afloat during the Great Depression. With fewer people able to afford custom furniture, Ole turned to making wooden toys to keep his workshop alive. He started with simple items like wooden ducks and cars, using scraps of wood from his carpentry work. He called the company LEGO, a combination of the Danish words "leg godt," meaning play well. At the time, Ole had no idea that this humble name would one day become one of the most powerful toy brands in the world. LEGO's early years weren't smooth sailing. In fact, the company was struck by disaster multiple times. The first major catastrophe came in 1942, when a fire broke out in Ole Kirk Christiansen's workshop and destroyed nearly everything he had built. All of the wooden toy molds, machinery, and inventory were reduced to ashes. For many small businesses, this would have been the end, but not for Ole. Instead of giving up, he saw the fire as a reason to rebuild better. He and his team salvaged what they could and got to work on making even more toys. His commitment to quality and craftsmanship never wavered, even in the face of financial ruin. And yet more challenges awaited. The post-war economy was brutal. Resources were scarce, competition was fierce, and innovation was necessary. But in 1947, LEGO made a bold and groundbreaking move. It became one of the first companies in Denmark to purchase a plastic injection molding machine. This was a game changer. It allowed them to produce toys more efficiently and in greater quantities. At first, people were skeptical. Plastic? Who would want cheap, artificial toys when handcrafted wood was still considered the gold standard? But Ole believed in the future, and in 1949, LEGO released the automatic binding bricks, the direct ancestor of the modern LEGO brick. Those early plastic bricks weren't perfect. They lacked the clutch power that modern LEGO is known for. They didn't stick together very well and weren't universally loved. Still, Ole and his team kept refining the product. In 1958, they patented the design for the interlocking brick system we all know today. That year also marked a turning point for the company. Ole Kirk Christiansen passed away, and his son, Gottfred Kirk Christiansen, took over the business. Gottfred shared his father's vision but brought a more structured, business-savvy approach. Under his leadership, LEGO expanded its product line and started marketing not just toys, but an entire system of play. Kids could now build entire towns, cities, and worlds, all with the same bricks. This concept of a connected, expandable system made LEGO more than just a toy. It became a creative experience. Let's pause for a second. Think about this. What if LEGO had stuck with wood? What if they gave up after the fire? Or when plastic seemed like a risky move? It's crazy how close LEGO came to disappearing, yet every setback pushed them toward innovation. By the 1960s and 70s, LEGO was booming. They expanded into new countries, opened up their first Legoland theme park, and began exploring even more intricate brick designs. The bricks were now being used not just for play, but for learning. Schools began using LEGO for educational purposes. Math, engineering, architecture. The possibilities seemed endless, and in many ways they were. But success came with new challenges. As the toy industry evolved in the 1980s and 1990s, LEGO began facing stiff competition from electronic toys and video games. Kids were becoming more interested in screens than building blocks. LEGO, in its efforts to stay relevant, started expanding too quickly. It launched new product lines, ventured into video games, clothes, TV shows, even theme parks across the globe. But not everything worked. They were spreading themselves too thin. By the early 2000s, LEGO was in serious trouble. The company was losing money fast. In 2003 alone, they lost nearly $300 million. Many of their new products weren't selling. The magic that once fueled their rise seemed to be fading. Lego was staring bankruptcy in the face. This was their second great crisis, and just like the fire decades earlier, it forced the company to take a long, hard look in the mirror. In 2004, Ole made a bold move. They brought in a new CEO, Jørgen Vignedstorp. What made this significant was that he wasn't a member of the Christiansen family. It was the first time an outsider was trusted with the company's future. Jørgen wasted no time making massive changes. He streamlined operations, cut unnecessary product lines, and refocused Ole on its core strengths, its bricks and its commitment to creativity. Instead of trying to compete with video games, Ole began collaborating with entertainment franchises. They partnered with Star Wars, Harry Potter, and later Marvel, creating theme sets that combined storytelling with building. This strategy worked. Kids were drawn in by the characters they loved, and parents appreciated the educational value of building. Lego wasn't just back, it was better than ever. Have you ever built a Ole Millennium Falcon or a Hogwarts castle? If so, you've touched part of the comeback that saved a dying brand. It's amazing to think how collaboration and clarity of vision breathed life into a company that was sinking just a few years prior. Ole didn't stop there. With its foundation reestablished, the company doubled down on innovation. They embraced technology, but in ways that aligned with their mission. Sets like Ole Mindstorms and Ole Boost combined traditional building with robotics and coding, empowering kids to build machines that could actually move, think, and solve problems. Education became a major focus too, with Ole Education partnering with schools to bring STEM learning into the classroom. Beyond just selling bricks, Ole had become a force for creativity, learning, and imagination. They even launched Ole Ideas, a platform where fans could submit their own set designs for potential production. This not only deepened community engagement, it turned fans into co-creators. And perhaps one of Ole's most surprising successes came in 2014 with the Ole movie. Against all odds, the film was a hit, both critically and commercially. It brought Ole's playful, creative spirit to life and introduced the brand to a whole new generation. Everything is awesome, the movie proclaimed, and for Ole, it truly was. Today, Ole stands as one of the most successful toy companies in history. They've built an empire on imagination, resilience, and the belief that even the most challenging problems can be solved, brick by brick. Their story is living proof that failure isn't the end. It's a step along the journey. Fires can destroy buildings, but not spirit. Bankruptcy can shake a business, but not its soul. Lego rebuilt from the ashes twice, and each time came back stronger. That's not just good business. It's a lesson for all of us. Feeling inspired? Maybe it's time to pull out that box of Ole bricks you got hidden in the attic, or build something new from scratch. Because with Ole, just like in life, you're only ever a few bricks away from something amazing. Enjoyed this story of resilience and creativity? Smash that like button, subscribe for more inspiring brand journeys, and tell us, what was your favorite Ole set growing up? Let's talk nostalgia in the comments below.